officially launching the Refiloe Jane Foundation today?
It wasn't a launch.
Okay.
The Refiloe Jane Foundation is going to be launched in the near future. Today it was all about life skills and coaching clinics.
This Kaslako, is this something that you've always wanted to do?
Yes, I've always wanted to give back to the community that raised me. The manner in which I grew up, it was because of the support that I got from this community, and I felt that it's about time that I come back to where it all started, where I was spotted for the national team and where I spent most of my childhood at. And with the team together, we came and sat and decided that we do life skills, we do coaching clinics for the kids, so that we can also try and talk to them about the importance of education, importance of staying away from drugs, teenage pregnancy and things like that. Not only focus on football like what everyone else is focusing on, but raise holistic kids who are able to face challenges and overcome them.
And how did you choose the group that was here today?
Today we chose players from the local teams here in Soweto who play in the local league. We got players from one team here and there so that we can get up the numbers. We chose the age group of 8 to 13 because that's the age group where you need to bring together the kids, try and keep them in line, because it's a stage where it's very important for them to stay focused. One mistake at that age, it's going to determine most of the time their future. So we try to focus at that age where we can teach them about life skills, what to expect, what to stay away from, and also be us as role models, be positive role models, be accessible to them, so that we are not only people they see on TV.
Getting your captain at Milan to even come down here, does this speak to the impact you've made there?
I can say so, that it also goes with the impact that I've made for myself and for everyone else that I represent. It's not easy for someone just to go out in a team, in a foreign team, and be able to bring back someone to your country. And we have to thank Valentina for taking that leap of faith, because she has never traveled to South Africa before, neither Africa. So for her to say, okay, I'll come to South Africa, I'll come to the event, I'll be part of the foundation, it means quite a lot to us, and we're hoping in future we can get more people overseas coming to share their experiences, and for them also to see the outside world from where they are, you see, because it's not only about where you are, it's about where you go, where you see yourself, and the lives that you touch. The more you touch, the better you feel, I think.
What can you say about your stay there so far? We've watched some of your matches on the app, with a lot of the apps. What can you say about the first few months that you spent there?
I can say the first few months that I've spent in Milan have been positive moments only. There's not a single day where I felt this is not for me, or I miss home, or I'm struggling. But since I've arrived there, I've always felt at home. The reception that I got from the management, from the players, the supporters, and everyone else, it's a positive one, and it's one that I want to have going forward. It gives me that courage to continue working hard, doing well for the team, doing well for myself, and also try and be a door for other players in Africa to be scouted, to be taken into these European leagues.
Having been at the Olympics, having been at the World Cup, I'm sure as you continue to play week in, week out, you feel like this is the level that you've always wanted to be part of.
Yes, once you get that feel of playing outside of the country and you come back and you realize that as a nation we are far, far, far behind in terms of football development and football structures, you want to stay where you are. You want to continue growing in that environment where you are constantly challenged. Week in, week out, we are constantly challenged. You don't have time to settle or think about something that's negative. Ever since I've played in the Olympics, or ever since, let me say, in 2009 when I won the Future Champs tournament and I got to train with Everton and Manchester City ladies, that's where my life changed. That's where I felt this is what I want to do, this is where I want to be. And ever since then, I continued working hard, and I'm hoping I'll keep on growing and getting to the level that I aspire to get to.
And describe that week of building to the Milan derby, because we're also following the build-up to that one.
Yes, I'm following the week towards the Milan derby. I think derbies are hyped the same all over the world, and the manner in which they hype the men's derby, it's the manner in which they hype the women's derby. Each and every day towards the derby day, the coaches would come to us, they'll tell us the importance of this derby. The management, they will always emphasize how important it is to the team, to the city, and to everyone else. So we needed to go out there, win, but most of all enjoy, because it's a big derby. You might not be able to play it again in your life, so make memories out of it and play the best football that you can possibly do.
I know that you had shared this, that they couldn't qualify to the UEFA Champions League last season. How are things building up this season?
Well, after last season and with a new coach coming in, we know the importance of qualifying for the Champions League. We've seen how it positively impacts a team. When you look at the likes of Juventus and Fiorentina, you can see the level that you are required to be at for you to be able to compete in the Champions League, and that's where we aspire to be as Milan. We wanna go all out, play our best, win the games that we play, so that we can also as a team qualify for the Champions League and play and test ourselves amongst the best in the world.
Has your role changed in any way, or it's been more enhanced in how you apply yourself?
I can say my role more as a sitter has been enhanced. In Italy, the game is more about tactic, and for me to be able to focus on that week in, week out is what I've been lacking maybe here and there when I was playing here locally. So I'm learning a lot week in, week out. I've got the best coach in the country, and I'm able to learn from him, because he masters the game, he knows the game, and he instills confidence in you. So when you go out in the field, you go out, you know that you've got a backup, you've got a team behind you that supports you, that believes in you. So your role becomes easier also, because we're doing it for one another. We want the best out of one another and for one another.
And you entered into a contract of how long?
It's a 1-season contract.
Definitely you're renewing, eh?
I'm hoping to get a renewal. It's not easy going overseas and to get maybe more than 1 year contract. I think since even the previous year in Australia, it was a 1-season contract. I did my best and went all out, and now in Milan, I'm also gonna do the same thing, do my best, go all out. If I get the contract in Milan, again, it's gonna be good for me. If not, then I know that I worked really hard to get to somewhere else, even if it's not Milan.
How strong is that link between the men and the women's team?
The link is very strong. You know that Milan is a big club, not only with the men and the women, but also their structures. The focus is almost the same for everyone, from the under 7s to the senior team. You get given attention, you get given the support that you need to excel, so the link between the men and the female, we don't feel it that much, even though we know men's football and women's football is not at the same level, but the treatment is more or less the same.
Okay. With this project, if I can just come back to this project, what have you learned? You come across as someone who's been going around, you've been seeing some of these things, because I see even the team that you've put together.
Well, what I've learned and what the kids have learned also, when going around watching them do the drills that we demonstrate to them, we realize the basics. We don't focus more on basics, especially at that level where the kids are. I feel that it's where the kids need to master the basics, the trap and the pass. It needs to be something that they do effortlessly. They don't have to think twice about it. dribbling in between the cones. The coordination between eye and foot is very important. And when I also asked the kids what they've learned today, I got the feel that they learned that the importance of accuracy, of passing, and the power behind the pass. You must be able to measure your pass. If the closer you are, you limit the power behind. They learned also that they can use their left foot. So it's something that with the balls that we've given them, we're hoping that they're gonna work on that, where during their spare time away from the teams, they can work on the left foot, those who struggle with the left foot, so that they can grow up to be players who can do better.
What you're also telling me, or maybe what I can say, is we need more Refiloes from Banyana to also go overseas, learn, and come back and make this impact, because women's football is still growing in the country, and we need ambassadors like you. Even those, we're not going to force them, some of those who are playing overseas, but create something.
Yes, it's going to be very important for our communities to get more of players, whether they're playing overseas or whether they're at that level of the national team, or even in their clubs, whether they're playing locally. But I feel once you go overseas and you get a different feel of what happens overseas, you don't come back the same person. And when you are true to yourself and when you see the surroundings that you grow up in, you just want to change that, because you see how advanced it is overseas and what's lacking in the country. You learn what they do there, you come back, you share the experiences with the kids, so that they can also get to feel something different. Sometimes you find the coaches have never been overseas, or they've never been encountered overseas teams. So with you coming, sharing here and there, even with the coaches, not to disrespect them or undermine them, but to share your experiences with them, teach one another, it's going to be good for our communities. Whether you are in the national team, whether you are overseas, whether the little that you can do, the experience that you get wherever you are, if you can share it with the next person, I think we're gonna raise good football players and good human beings.
And to the national team, we had a 2019 of mixed feelings, going to our first World Cup, buying out of the Olympic qualifiers. What can you say when you look back to this year?
Yeah, like you say, 2019 has been a year of mixed emotions. It was a roller coaster of a journey, but that's what makes football interesting. You know, when you fall, how bad do you wanna rise up? And when you are there up top, how bad do you wanna stay there up top? Because it's not an easy thing to maintain being at the top. You know, it's not everyone who stays at the top and just stays there. You're gonna encounter challenges where they're gonna derail you, but the main thing is, how do you come back from that? And as a national team, we've been to the World Cup, it was our high, and then we get to the Olympic qualification, we drop, we lose the qualification spot. Now it's about how do we get back from that. So we need to pick ourselves together, we need to come together as a team to say, okay, now there's more to play for, we have a new year coming up, we need to qualify for the Women's AFCON, we need to win COSAFA again, we need to play different tournaments and make sure that we perform better than the last time we did.
And then finally, the AFCON this year, it will be different from 8 to 12 teams. What's your take on that? You've played almost most of the other teams that were not so fortunate to make the last 8 at the AFCON, but what do you make of this increase to 12 teams?
Well, I think it's gonna be good to increase the number of teams. You know, the teams that are gonna be part of the AFCON also need to get to that stage where they see what goes on in the AFCON. You know, they also get to play against high-ranked teams, and when you play the high-ranked teams, you are able to measure yourself to say, okay, this is my first experience. Now you know what to do next time when you come back. You know what to focus on. So it's gonna be good also for the development of football in Africa, and also it's gonna give the tournament more competition and a wider audience, I think.
Okay, thanks so much. Grazie.
Grazie mille, prego.
And then what's the translation for that?
Prego is you are welcome.
Okay.
Prego.
Are you fluent in Italian?
Yeah, I topa there, you know, try and grab here and there. It's not easy, but in the field it's a little bit better because some things are repetition. You hear one word, it's said all over again, and then you pick up, okay, this is what it means. And then the more you do certain drills, certain situations, you are able to understand, okay, this means that, this means that. If you understand the word, it becomes easier. And in my spare time, I try to learn on the phone. I have an app where I learn how to pronounce the words, what this means, what that means. If I want this, how do I say it, and things like that. But in the coming year, we're gonna be going for a course. The internationals are gonna do Italian, the Italians are gonna do English, because the coaches also, they don't speak English. So you can imagine how complicated it gets when we try to get the message across.
And the euro is good.
I'm happy.
I know, sharp. Thanks.